Greetings and salutations. Jen here with Sammy and Little Girl. This is off the cuff. Again, this one is unplanned, but I had found some information that I thought Sammy lay down, that I thought we should go over together, that I thought was interesting, and I wanted to show you. Um, sorry, lay down, Sam. Let me restart that. So I found a weird website, and of course, I was on Reddit, and I found a couple of strange links and websites, and people like to make their own games on there, but I have a feeling that's how they recruited some people for a lot of the spy games we're seeing right now and the electronic stalking and harassment that we're seeing. I think they were recruited through places like Reddit, people my son's age, and I think they were recruited through things like I don't know if you've ever heard of it, Cicada 3301, which is weird because again 330 33 is in my area code, and so yeah, it just keeps going and going. But looking back, I'm able to see like all these things that are connecting, and Cicada 3301, I believe, you had to solve a lot of these different puzzles and cryptographs and cryptograms and decode things. And anyways, the symbolism is where I kind of dwell, but I wanted to show you this, and I hope you'll find it interesting. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. Comments have been turned on. I'm having some issues with YouTube itself and the device. If you'd like to help with that, let me know and I'll put a PayPal link up. It was started to be Sammy's link because the people in the first channel wanted to help with his like monthly payments for his food needs and the vet and all that stuff when I first got him. And people wanted to help with little things like that, but I've never really put the link up and like shared it. So if you'd like to help with a new device, let me know. But I don't really try to ask for stuff like that. I think it's a blessing that I can just do this and talk to people and connect with people from all over. Hopefully, we're not so restricted that we're not able to at least interact with real human beings. So I want to show you this. And it's a link that again I found in an answer or a comment section in Reddit, and it said something like, it was just random, right? It was just hanging out, and the person said, here, check this. And they were looking for some answer to something. But what intrigued me, of course, was the date. And I'm going to show you and the way it's written. Now, I'm not endorsing any of this. I'm not promoting any of this. We're just taking a look at this information together because it is woo-woo, kind of weird. There's reptilian talk and galactic armies and all this, but there's something really interesting I found about a second Earth or a second Earth-like planet that allegedly they know about and found back in the 1990s. So I really didn't know what to title this because there's, again, every time something's written in blue, it's a link and you can click on it and it takes you to more information. It is just wild to see things like the book of Daniel come to life, because even he said knowledge will increase all over the earth, right? And that the Antichrist will think to change the times and the days, or the laws and the time. That's right, the laws and the times. And that's where I believe the word that I got from God was confirmed. One of the words that I got from God that I was supposed to share anyways. Okay, here we go. Sorry it's punchy. It's not 5G. I'm okay with that. I hope you're okay with that. If you're able to comment, throw a little hi in there or something, just so I know it's working. So what you type in is militant consumerism, but it's very hard to find because militant consumerism is also on a .gov site, and it's basically like trade laws and tax laws and things, Better Business Bureau type stuff that is allowed and is not allowed to be done in trade, in selling and commerce. So anyways, it's hidden right now on this WordPress. As you see above, design a site like this. you can pretty much, if you're anybody, you can just throw information up there. So again, I'm not endorsing all this information, but I want to show you something. So it says, happy belated Sol Invictus, okay? And this is January 4th, 2018. That's the summer I went to Florida, and the following year, I was involved in an assault and battery and was traumatized in my head. Most people know this if you followed the channel. That's a really big part of the, like, kind of what woke me up all the way, because I was in the process of waking up, and I think the goal was to kind of hinder that. They did not want me to be talking to people like this. So let's read what it says, and then I want to click on a couple of these blue links. This won't be too long. I did not plan this, so I apologize for being a little off, maybe. So January 4th, 2018, and now, so I don't know, because they say 2019 is finally here, but the date above is 2018, but I don't want to click on it yet because it might take us somewhere else, so just hang tight. So it says 2019 is finally here, and thankfully all that tedious 2018 fake news nonsense can finally be over with. Hopefully things in America can finally get back to normal now. Now he gets really, I think it's a he, the author here gets a little sing-song and sarcastic with some of this, so you have to kind of, since the Trump presidency has worked out quite well for our conspiracy and our fears about the ascendancy of competing conspiracies have dissolved into alliances, it occurs to me that I should probably stop blogging the secret plans and machinations of the reptilian Illuminati New World Order conspiracy. Hold, please. This isn't all that's on here, though. I don't know if that is to throw people off and make people think it's nonsense. I don't know if that person believes this. I don't know if reptilians are real. I know that people get very triggered. Certain individuals get very triggered if you bring this conspiracy up. And I know I was talking to someone about this on Facebook, someone who was in London. And I guess they had never heard this conspiracy. Maybe their news is, again, censored for them. And I made a joke. It was, I thought, a harmless joke. And I said something, wow, have you heard of that David guy who's not allowed back in your country, David Icke, and talking about reptilians being everywhere over there? And after that, like, I didn't realize that things had started to be closed off to me or shut down to me as far as internet surfing went. I didn't realize that my apps had been cloned yet. And I truly believe that. I think I'm allowed to reach some people, but not all people. And the people that I'm allowed to, like, converse with on the phone, I think are probably monitoring me. And it doesn't mean I'm important. It just means that when you wake up to certain things, you're going to face a lot of spiritual warfare, but you're going to face a lot of real life garbage too. And that's the part people leave out. It's like, what are you supposed to do? Who can fight the beast, right? Who can fight the system? How are you supposed to operate and move and navigate and live, right? Everybody wakes up and we're all in agreement and we all agree to do the same thing. We could possibly overcome all this, and I think that we can, and I think that we will. I just hope that we do it soon. So let's click on a couple of things. I just want you to check this out with me. Now it says these are the tags that they used for this article, right? Now, if you go down here, there are additional blog postings, okay? So up above, they were talking about the election. Now it says, additional calibrations transmittal to Galactic Central Command. ACT TGCC. Now, sometimes these people who build these sites and make these interactive games on Reddit, they're trying to get out legitimate information. They're also testing to see who out there, can break down certain codes and symbolism. That's how people are recruited for certain clandestine organizations. Don't ask me how I know this. I honestly don't even know. I just know that's true. And I'm sure you can think on that and determine its truth and viability as well. So sometimes you want to, like, go a little deeper. Sometimes they will, for example, where I found this at, it was on a Steam site. and you had to find it. And people probably don't realize I do this stuff. The only way to find it was by figuring out what this, oh, the message, I forgot to show you guys that. That's what I wanted to show you guys. There was this game built, and this user wanted to message the person who built it because they enjoyed it, but they weren't uploading any new information. So they reached out to the developer of this game, and they messaged them back with a very strange message. I don't know. I don't know if the pictures are on this phone or the other one. I'll do a quick upload. You can see that. But that's what led me to this. You had to add the response. Kind of sounded nonsensical, but if you added all the first letters of each word together, it spelled a word and led you somewhere else. So, anyways, moving on. Now, this one's from December 13th, 2017. December 13th is kind of a big day, and that's actually in a day for me, an anniversary day from way back. So again, all these synchronicities are phones just manufacturing stuff they think we want to see, our devices, our tablets, our laptops. I don't know anymore. Along with our extensive operations here on planet Earth, control extends across a number of star systems seeded by our genetic engineers long ago. Now, if you click on that, it takes you to the wiki page for Enki and Enlil. Now, we've went over this. I'm sure you all, if you're on my channel, you have heard of this. It really lines up and aligns or matches up with, I guess you would say the archetypes of Lucifer and Christ. And they are allegedly on Nibiru now, if I understand correctly. So we're going to go back, and we can look at that stuff someday, maybe. But I want to show you what I found about this second Earth. Now it says, as Earth remains in quarantine to prevent feeble human intelligence from rapidly polluting the rest of the galaxy. So again, we have this rhetoric about humanity is destroying the planet. Humanity goes through cycles, and a lot of the things that we're doing, plastic, even the recycling plants are almost worse than having the plastic. And I didn't know this, because of the damage that they bring to the local ecosystem where they are installed in poor regions of places like India. Things like Trash Island, absolutely consumers contribute to that 99%. But they taught us, we didn't know how to do any of this. We were just simple people living off of the land. They lured us into these cities and these skyscrapers with promises of a better life and an easier life, a life of, more relaxation. And that's when I believe tribes were split up into this quote unquote nuclear family. Ask yourself, why do they call it a nuclear family? Because we're the conductors. But anyways, let's move on. Recently, planet Earth re-encountered our deep space monitoring station, designated 1991 VG, which orbits the sun and an orbit nearly identical to the Earth. The probe has been monitoring conditions on the surface and storing reports from members of our conspiracy. Now, before we go any further, let's go back up so we're not lost, and let's go to, since the Trump presidency has worked out quite well for our conspiracy, and click on that. Oh, okay, it leads us to another blog. November 17th, 2016. Like everyone else, even those with buyer's remorse, I'm doing what I can to cope with ascendant neocon, New World Order conspiracy. It's hard since we here in the reptilian Illuminati New World Order conspiracy have been plotting for centuries to take control of the planet, and like everyone else, we're not sure what's next. The rules of the game have changed. Oh my goodness. I'm going to take you to the other information, but again, we have to understand where this individual is coming from. I'm not endorsing this. I'm not pro or con aliens or reptilians. I'm con deception, right? If we have other beings here with us, especially if they're controlled by like algorithms, like synthetic algorithms like AI uses, we need to know that. We could be in physical danger as well. And so could our loved ones if we are around these things. We have heard that in Japan, there have been a couple of incidents where human beings have been seriously harmed by androids and whatnot. I can't believe it. I'm even saying that. Do we not have enough movies about this stuff to know that it ends badly, that we should be responsible, maybe? No, we've still got men and Americans and weak, what did he call them? Oh, a blast from the past, opportunistic individuals who would, I don't know, do things like sell their own family members, sell out their own loved ones, sell them literally um, to other individuals and cartels. And if that doesn't work, then they try to get out of you whatever they can. We think it's demonically and spiritually driven. Do these individuals actually have reptilian features? I know that I've seen people that plastic surgery isn't enough of an explanation to me for things that I've seen with my own eyes, right? And just the lack of compassion in society as a whole right now. There was a change, and I felt it happen, and I watched it in June of 2019, or June of, let me think, June of 2019. And then it happened again in like 2022. There was just this degradation almost overnight, and I don't sleep well all the time. So I'll be surfing and looking at things and again, just learning or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with learning and knowledge. It's what you do with it. Okay, so basically they're saying that this guy is saying he's a member of the reptilian race. Okay, whatever. I want to know why he said the rules have changed. Let's look at that real quick. As we survey the new lay of the land and assess our options, we're looking for ways to work across the aisle, as it were, to build solidarity and to find ways to align our goals with those of our new rulers. Who are the new rulers? To cope with the ascendant neocon new order. It's hard since we here have been planning to take over the planet. Okay. So who is he saying is in control now? One of us remarked that it was not certain, but we decided to stage an experiment to test the age of the instrument. The keys were badly damaged and chipped in several places, and I broke off a tiny sliver. We decided to hold it against the candle on the table to see how it burned as a way to determine whether it was genuine ivory or plastic. If it caught fire, we could be sure it was made from petrochemicals. Oh my gosh. Were it to smell like, and you see what that says, we could be sure it was made from ivory. So again, this seems like it's something, it seems like it's rage bait. Like it wants people to find it and to get triggered. Okay, now it says, and sure enough, it occurred to me that the neocons and their apocalyptic goals may be aided by our lobbying efforts among the ultra-Orthodox in Israel to obtain kosher certification for the CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing technology. Wow. And I hadn't looked at this part yet. I went straight to the solar system where it spoke of the second Earth. I never went back to like get the background. Again, when you find things like this on Reddit, usually it is a whole, you'll find zip files, compressed files, you'll find links to links to links, and on and on. Wow, CRISPR, huh? Okay, let's see what it says. Our operatives in Texas, what did I say about Texas? Texas, Florida, Michigan, and I didn't know why at the beginning of this. I just knew we should stay away from those places. Wow. Our operatives in Texas have been having great difficulty bringing and rebuild the temple on the site of the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem. Sorry, that I said that way wrong. I'm really surprised to find this. With any luck, kosher certification for CRISPR-Cas9 might allow us to fast track this process, which may be of interest to the neocons. Okay, we know what CRISPR is in editing, right? But what is CRISPR-Cas9? I don't even know. I don't want to go off on another track right now. But of course, we'll just have to see what the future holds. Wow. This gets wow, right? Okay. It's hurricane season again. Welcome to day 3 of the New World Order. Oh my goodness. All right, we're going to go back. Okay, so that's their conspiracy. Whatever. Fears about the ascendancy of competing conspiracies. What does that mean? These elections will determine the course of the reptilian and Illuminati conspiracy. Our future is at stake. We must not allow this to happen. That's why I'm with her. Hillary Clinton? Is it Hillary Clinton? I gotta see. What does it mean to say I'm with her? There I sat down in a nondescript ballroom in downtown Denver on sweltering June day, listening to Hillary Clinton speak about the women in the U.S. still face, while 2 blocks away a man walked into college. Oh, wow. So you see what that says. And you see here, that's 33 victims a week. Every 6 hours, a man murders a woman in the United States. That's 33 victims a year. If that's true, that's terrible. Okay, we see I'm with her. Now, it's funny how they're all saying right now, we're in this together. And one of my subscribers broke this down for me, and I'll do another short video on it. But it said, we are in this together, and then it broke down together as to get her. So who is her? Is her the church? The bride of Christ? And I often wonder, like, church and temple, and the temple is your body. I really sometimes do wonder if it's like Mary Magdalene or Sophia. And I know people are going to jump all over me for saying that and say that it's Gnostic or what have you. Look, if Christ did have his own bloodline, that wouldn't bother my faith at all, because God told us to go have families, and everything he told us to do when he came down here as Christ, he did it. So it would not offend me if he had a family. However, there is still a bloodline of Christ with the same genetics anyway through the Davidic bloodline, through David. The little girl's drinking. She does it when nobody's looking. I don't know why. Probably because Samson's usually at the water bowl. So, in my opinion, everybody is way too involved in these elections. They're allowing their emotions to take off with them, and that's exactly what these types want. They want us confronting each other with that, because I'll tell you right now from experience, these other ones, whatever you want to call them, the line of Cain, the Illuminati bloodline, the satanic bloodline, whatever they are, whoever they are, when you confront them, they get visibly irritated. I would swear, and that's, they shake, they tremble. I don't even know what to call it. It's just like the Bible says. This is so wild to see all this playing out. I hope people understand that. And I'm not getting any comments, which is super isolating even more. So it makes me question why I still do this, of course, but I'm going to do it for as long as God has me here. Which is weird, because one of the clues from that time is coming into my workspace, and it's a name that my spouse shouted out of nowhere. He was just like, and what the heck kind of name is blah anyway? I ain't going to say the person's name, obviously. And now I have to work with a person that has that same name. And so these coincidences, it's like they want you to be in a state of either fear or anger. So you have to dwell and abide in peace as much as possible. But if you confront these ones, watch for the signs, man. They literally shake. It's weird. Okay, so additional calibrations are needed. We're seeing that he believes we were seated here by Enki and Enlil. Somehow he is part of the reptilian conspiracy, though. Why, I don't know. All right, we are going to check out this. Okay, it says recently planet Earth re-encountered our deep space monitoring station. So that's telling you basically there's a satellite out there that monitors Earth, and it looks like part of our solar system. Like if anyone looked up, it would just be It would just look like it belonged, basically. And now we're hearing stories of this second moon. So this is why I wanted you guys to check this out. It says the probe is, oh, yeah, the probe has been monitoring conditions on the surface and storing reports from members of our conspiracy. Now, using HARP, most of you should know what that is by now, using HARP ionospheric heater to create temporary high altitude antennae out of attenuated particles in the E layer of the atmosphere. What is the E layer of the atmosphere? Sporadic E propagation is an uncommon form of radio propagation using a low level of the Earth's ionosphere that normally does not refract radio waves above 15 MZ. So it's sending out a very low vibration, which for us, as living beings who are a third water, we are electric beings, that's not good because that can affect people on Earth, obviously. It says sporadic E propagation reflects signals off relatively small ionization patches in the lower E region located at altitudes of about 50 to 75 miles. The more conventional forms of skywave propagation in the ionosphere's higher F region refract off layers of electrons knocked off of gas atoms and molecules by intense UV light, which are renewed on a regular repeating daily cycle. In both cases, the electrons, when present, refract or bend radio signals back towards the Earth's surface, creating a bent pipe path for radio signals. So they're bouncing off radio signals that are coming back down to Earth. What would be the point of that? Weaponization against humanity is the only thing that I can think. But I'm not physics girl and I'm not science girl. So if you guys want to chime in, you're more than welcome to. But again, with all the stuff going on in this, for example, now this is what I'm coming up with. Please do give the video a thumbs up if you appreciate weird and different information and high strangeness every now and again. It helps me know if I'm learning and explaining things right. But what I'm gathering here, if I'm correct, is that they can use this, bounce it back to a specific location, say like a concert venue, and make a whole lot of people either angry or really like sad and low, or even hyper and very erratic, right? Because these frequencies affect living beings. Why would you want to bounce things back to the earth? That's the only thing I can come up with. Propagation often supports occasional long-distance communication during 6 weeks centered on summer solstice at very high frequencies, VHF, which under normal conditions can usually propagate mostly by line of sight. What does that mean? I know that means something. I'm just not smart enough to figure out exactly what it means. Again, I'm not science girl. I'm trying. But during summer solstice, so it's like a pagan type ES propagation often supports. And right now, did you see that the new V strain is called triple E? I was looking into that to see what I could find on it. And we'll do a search on that if you'd like. So that's weird. Unpredictable event that can happen at almost any time. It does, however, display strong seasonal and diurnal patterns. Sporadic E activity peaks predictably near the solstices in both hemispheres. In the mid-latitude of the northern hemisphere, activity usually begins in mid-May, with the peak most notably beginning in early June. It begins trailing off after mid-July and becomes much less reliable by early August. A smaller sporadic peak occurs during the winter solstice. That is wild. So it's telling you how far communication distances go from 500 to 1400 miles. So let's say you wanted to communicate with okay, I get it now, I think. Another thing this could be used for, because they're saying communication, if you're bouncing it back down and you can determine exactly where it goes through the use of geometry, it's almost like if you had a tree house and you had a one of those can telephones that your parents made. This is so aged, and I know younger people might not understand what I'm talking about. So you take a can, right? A vegetable can, a soup can, emptied, of course, and cleaned out or whatever, and you drill a hole in the bottom of it. And you take a rope or a piece of twine, usually, and you tie a knot in it. Real simple, right? You put it through the hole, tie a knot in it. You do the same thing with the other end. So now you have two cans, right? So a friend would be far away from you. You'd make it as long as possible, sometimes up in a tree house or whatever. And the other person would be down, off the tree house on the ground around the house or whatever. And you would talk through this, and the other person would put their ear up to it and they could hear what you were saying. So let's say you wanted to transmit very, very sensitive information. How would you do this? And this can also be what they call, what is it, V2H, the voice of God. Targeted individuals say they don't believe it's God speaking to them, that it's some other thing because they're saying like profane things to them in their mind. Like this is highly possible. Tinfoil hats don't sound that bad now. I'm really pondering putting something in a hat for winter and doing that. I'm only half kidding. Wow. This is wild. So yeah, if you wanted to like send a message to somebody and you didn't want anyone else knowing about it, you could do that if you were highly sophisticated enough. But you could also use it to manipulate people and control people. Like, for example, that we were talking about yesterday, that carrot top, redheaded young man who looked like a deer in the headlights in court, who had he took the pew pew tool into the Aurora Theater for the premiere of Dark Knight. And I believe it was some type of sacrifice because the Batman theme is continuing. Anyways, moving on. Okay, so I have a better idea of what that is. Let's get out of there. Okay, so this here. Okay, so it says using that E-layer, they can create an artificial effect much like that exploited in meteor burst communications, except in our case, data is deflected out into space towards the 91 VG probe in a man-made ground-based detection. I was kind of right. Our last reports and planning documents were transmitted in June of 2017. Didn't I just say June was when like things happened? And then we read, this is so wild. And that's how my life works, guys, and that's in real time. Everything with me is in reverse. That's so bizarre. Cause and effect. I don't even know what to think. And just like that name that came back around, I'm really wondering at this time, because that was when I was assaulted and battered, and certain other clues and breadcrumbs were dropped at that same time. It's very possible that person might have something to do with my persecution or whatever is going to happen to me on that level. So I'm praying a lot, but I'm also praying for those who persecute us. And I pray for y'all, and I know you're listening, because if regular people were listening, they would comment at least calling me crazy, but nobody's even doing that anymore. So something's up. Okay, so our last reports planning were transmitted June of 2017 upon the most recent rendezvous. In September, interstellar messenger probe 1I 2017, U1, U2, OU Muamu. Wow, okay. Approached this solar system, passed through the orbit of Mercury, swung around the sun, and made a scheduled rendezvous with the 91 VG Deep Space Scout to download local observations, reports, and telemetry data for the upcoming galactic census. Okay, that's different. Now, I know a lot of people don't believe in quote unquote space, but I do believe there's a firmament, and like this, the luminaries are inside of the firmament, a lot of them. And I think it's like one of those lights that you get for a child, in their room, like a nightlight, and it has the cover on it with the shape of the stars, and underneath is just one giant light. I think it's like that in a way. Not completely, but I think kind of like they're fixed in their positions, right? Now, some of them gave up their first estate, and that's why things are wonky. Honestly, it's really not humanity's quote unquote fault. Um, God knew everything that was going to happen. Time was laid out in front of him. And I heard somebody getting on a female preacher, and she definitely was Luciferian. This woman is like pretty much straight up gone Luciferian. But I have to say, and even the LDS church says this too, if we'd have never ate from that tree, we would not have, that was our free will. We were using our free will, but we used it to disobey, right? So that choice activated that free will within us, and God knew he would have to bring us back around to him, right? Once we saw all that Satan's kingdom had to offer and realized, like a prodigal son or daughter, this isn't all it was cracked up to be. I'm going home, right? Okay, it says the messenger promptly entered standby mode and is now on its way out of the solar system. Sometimes for secure communications, physically couriers just can't be surpassed. We will have more to report shortly. Hopefully, now that we are in control of the U.S. at the highest levels, this interstellar visit will provide us with an upstream green light for the next phase in our operations here. Wow. Okay, so this was November 13th. This is roughly 2 weeks later. But if you look here, it shows you the path that this alleged thing is taking. Now, is this damage control? Is this straight up deception? Do they know something is coming into the solar system and they want to act like it's something they made? If you'll notice, the counterfeit kingdom does that all the time. And when I say counterfeit kingdom, I mean the kingdom of darkness. It borrows the things of God and corrupts them, right? It's not real. It's all illusion, okay? So is this more of like, hey, we did this, it's not God, it's us or whatever type deal? Very odd. Okay, so you see the path that it takes. Now it's saying in 2017, September 9th, 2017, it was at its closest approach to the sun. And that is September of 2017 was when the conjunction occurred, and you had the constellation of the woman in the heavens with the stars on her head, and she was going into childbirth, and the dragon swept a third of the stars to the land. So I mean, it's all happening again. I don't know why it's repetitive like this. I don't know if God is filtering out all of our souls to save every single one of us, and so things are repeating. I know that again, some individuals, they really do act out like they're in a play, like they're in a drama, because to them they are. God told certain beings that you would be here and you'd walk about, and this false reincarnation seems like the only way they can do that. Feeding chaos, and that's why we're kind of in a fight for the planet, because it was given to us, right? But they're stuck here too. So feeding chaos and the art of control. As we commemorate the genocide that originally made America great, we are apt to turn our reptilian hearts and minds to all the great things we can expect from the future. Again, I am reading from this account. I'm not promoting it. We are just doing a search of this weird website we found. Now, this is key. If you don't know what this is, you should know. Somebody close to me, I don't know why, one of our Wi-Fi servers is named FCC monitoring or something like that. So the move by the FCC to repeal net neutrality, for example, will remove common carrier protections from internet service providers. One consequence will be to enhance the efficiency of our operation by exposing risk-averse telecommunication corporations to content liability. We've determined that this scenario will provide a novel way to further restrict the terms of popular discourse, such as it exists at all anymore, by incentivizing a new top-down censorship regime among vertically integrated and heavily consolidated media outlets. Boy, that reminds me of when RT said and was laughing at the US, one of the last broadcasts I saw before they took it off of YouTube, at least for me. The Lisa person, Watchwoman65, whose videos I share all the time, she still gets RT. So I don't know how she's able to do that. I am not able to do that. Maybe if I did a website search, it would still come up. But anyways, they are the ones who said America has replaced all its news anchors with actors. So this is telling us, and this is what it says right here. If you don't understand what this means, it's telling us right here. We've determined that this scenario, the above one they're speaking about, restricting, and I'll show you that in a minute. This is this is confirming the suspicions I've had that we are gridded off into districts and our communications are highly restricted and they're not leaving the U.S. and we're lucky if they're probably leaving our own state. But hold while I read this part. So we've determined that this scenario, the one I just told you about, will provide a novel way to further restrict the terms of popular discourse, such as it exists. Popular discourse, how we interact with each other, how we communicate. The whole goal is to shut us up. They don't want to hear us. They call us mouth breathers. They call us useless eaters. I breathe through my nose and mouth. Like, I don't know what the problem is. I don't know why that's like, I don't just sit there and like Darth Vader or something, but for real, this is so bizarre that people talk this way about other people. So the only thing I can determine is, again, it's anti-human. So we'll remove common carriers. So what does that mean? By exposing risk-averse telecommunications. Let's go there. You need to understand what's happening to the internet if you're going to be on here. Again, this is Satan's kingdom. We probably shouldn't be on here. We should be having a real-life gathering through a real-life exodus, and we should be fasting from electronics for a long, long time. Long, long time. Okay, liability for harm to content. In order for reduced discretion, a carrier obtains certain benefits, including limited liability for the consequences of its own actions. This means if somebody gets harmed in this, that they're not liable. Kind of like a doctor, when a doctor does surgery, they're usually not liable because it is a schooling, it is a constantly changing and ever evolving, and it is a teaching, learning field. This is why students will practice on you, right? So they have no liability usually. It is at your own consent and your own risk that you have that surgery. Malpractice is very hard to achieve. Okay, so it would be impractical and inefficient to require a carrier to accept any shipment or message while being exposed to huge potential liability of unknowable consequences. Thus, the extent of liability by a common carrier is usually limited to the price paid for the communication or transportation, unless otherwise agreed upon. Telegraph companies offered the first two and sometimes all three of the following levels of liability for the same underlying service. Unrepeated messages available at the lowest rate with the lowest level of limited liability. So this is, again, this is what you're seeing take place in Congress right now with Zuckerberg and Facebook and all that. So a lot of this does seem to be true. Vertically integrated, I have to see what that means because I'm not, that's like assimilated. Op-ed, why the AT&T Time Warner merger makes sense and the Justice Department lawsuit doesn't. No kidding. And AT&T, I used to work for them. They are big in all of this. The Bell company, Tesla Bell, like it's a big thing. Department of Justice officials announced Monday that they were swooping in to protect Americans from economic predators by fighting for our right to watch Game of Thrones. The prosecutor's target is AT&T's proposed merger with Time Warner, but like Game of Thrones, the government's lawsuit is set in a world of ancient fantasies rather than current law and the real economics of Hollywood. The department argues that if AT&T consummates its $85 billion purchase of Time Warner, the combined firm would use its control of Time Warner's popular programming as a weapon to harm competition, which would result in fewer innovative offerings and higher bills for American families. The argument is remarkably out of touch. Old Hollywood players and entrants like Hulu, Amazon, and Netflix are erecting studios, signing up talent, and working at a furious pace to create new programs for consumers. By invading the traditional entertainment market, they have upended its power structure as they chase after the eyeballs of fickle viewers. I don't know which side of that I would be on, honestly. Huh. That's like heavy censorship and heavy like taking the choice away from you, right? Heavily consolidated, that means again that only one or two corporations would own every communication and entertainment company, right? Wow. Since President Trump was okay, I can't. Do you see what that says? I can't. Okay, let's click on it. October 7th, 2017. Oh my gosh, man. These dates. These dates. I'm excited to report some of the most wonderful news in recent history. Since last month, since the Hurricane Irma slammed into Donald Trump's Caribbean estate, several new command protocols have rapidly been implemented, ushering in a new world order within the new world order established between our warring cabals. Although we initially advocated Mr. Trump's impeachment, it seems for a while now that all conspirators, regardless of persuasion or agenda, can agree that the careful management of the president's persona is a most effective smokescreen for all our machinations behind the screens. Mr. Trump had attempted to divest himself of his Caribbean holdings in the month prior to instructing climate control to send wave after wave of destructions towards America's Latin American interests. Similar technology was used to abruptly bank Hurricane Katrina 72 degrees away from Texas towards New Orleans. This looks like a dead website. I don't know if it'll go to it. The day the forecast shifted, August 26, 2015. This person, whoever they are, like did their research because I remember when that happened. Like in real time, I remember it. That's wild. In accord with the secret agreement struck between the neocon faction and our conspiracy and the discording schism in control of Mr. Trump's psyche, through post-hypnotic suggestion in the mass media, the physical Donald Trump was eliminated by Northcom climate control. Plans initially called for Hurricane Jose to take out the president while he was assessing damage to his estate, having reduced the asking price of his rental property by 40% just 1 month prior to approving plans for this year's hurricane. What? So they're saying that we do control like all of the weather. I don't know if I believe that. The asking price for President Trump's Caribbean estate has been cut dramatically. Did it get destroyed? Is that what they're saying? Like, how did he know it would get destroyed? They're not going to let me read it. Dang it. Get out of here. That's wild. Okay. In mid-September, however, everybody in the climate control room was still on a month-long bender, sending Jose on an odd little loop-the-loop in the Atlantic instead of into St. Martin. Fortunately, we were able to guide Hurricane Maria along a nearly identical path to Irma. Since the president lost his life in the wake of Hurricane Maria, we have been impersonating him in a variety of ways, depending on the context, be it online, on television, or at events. Dude, I've been saying that for years now. For years, and this is from 2017. And you can tell that it's old because of all the links that it leads to. This isn't something somebody could do overnight just to gaslight me in my phone. Wow. And I've said that from day one. I'm like, that's not him. That's not him. It's not him. And I said, I think he's gone. Him, the Pope, and there was another one. Who's the other one? Shoot, I can't think. Him and the Pope were definitely like, they're gone, been gone. I don't know. His peculiar orange complexion. I have to click on it. Is it going to be Orange Man? Why his skin is so orange. October 21st, 2016. The American people deserve answers. Though no one knows for sure what the source is, many makeup artists and tanning experts say it's bad artificial tanner. Right. You have to be very skilled adding makeup on top of self-tanning. Right? Camera lights will change the color of your natural skin. Right? All right, so we all know that. Let's back. Okay, his peculiar orange complexion. Let's read that again. We have been impersonating him, President Trump, in a variety of ways depending on the context, be it online, on television, or at events. I wish I had a mic, I would do a mic drop. I feel so validated lately. Like, but it's very, like it's almost scary when, like, I've either been talking to God or somebody that really, really, really knows what's going on. But I say it's God because they say, how do you know when God talks to you? Okay, well, because God tells me things that I don't want to hear, but I need to hear, right? I lie to myself. We lie to ourselves all day long just to get by, usually. God doesn't lie to me. He tells me what I need to hear, like as a parent. And a lot of times I don't like what I'm hearing, but I know that I, that's how I know it's God. That's how a parent would be, a good parent. All right, so his peculiar orange complexion readily facilitates in-person impersonation. So meaning because he's so orange, it's not been hard impersonating him because you can just throw makeup on somebody and that suit and hair, and if they're about that age, it'll almost always look like him, is what they're saying, because he's a caricature, right? All right. How did he die on The Simpsons? Does anybody know? Like, nobody's commenting and the comments are on. How did Trump die on The Simpsons? I'm going to have to look that up. Okay. We expect technological advances in the electromagnetic spectrum will soon render impersonation obsolete. What's that mean? As side-channel modulated Van Eck signals embedded in internet audio-visual media can be used to enhance individual susceptibility to perceptual priming algorithms integrated with most popular social media platforms. We got to click on that because Van Eck, it's also a cult from Egypt. It looks like the link is possible. Ugh. What is it? I want to know what it is. Dang it. It's a dead site. All right. Can be used to enhance individual susceptibility to perceptual priming algorithms. Show me what this means. Reload it. Okay. They don't want us to know what that means. I'll look up each word. Enhance individual susceptibility just means that it'll make you primed. You'll be ready to like pretty much be hypnotized or brainwashed. Holographic projection techniques, right? So they're working on, basically they're using light signals, right? Because everything you see is one of the three primary colors: red, yellow, and blue. So they use those three colors. If old TV screens, everything is made up of those little pixels of those three colors. And so what they're saying here is that by using refracted light, and I thought for a long time, those panels in front of them, those prompters, that they say they're prompters for their speeches, if you wanted to, like if you had a giant one up, say because you were worried somebody was going to get assassinated, you could refract light off of there and you wouldn't be able to tell watching TV that it's a hologram because they would refract the light off of that plastic shield. This is wild, dude. Like, I don't even know what to think of this. Okay, so where were we? Holographic projection techniques first deployed after the 2000 assassination of Treasury Secretary Henry Paulson have been refined over the past decade. The combination of real-time computer graphics, high-resolution 3D models of the population available through TSA rapid scan systems. Oh shit, excuse me, that's what they have at the airports. And this is why I tell you, they show us what they're doing so they can say so they don't show us because they want to help us. They're showing it because they have to obey that law, that law, okay, of consent. So they're showing us what it is, but not in the right framework. So these people, and I saw another video on a TikTok compilation, and it showed somebody at an airport doing a video of people walking through that like shuttle thing from the plane to the airport, and you could see that it was just like fake people. It wasn't actually real people. Does anyone actually fly? Like, do we even go up there? What is happening? Rapiscan Systems is an American privately held company that specializes in walk-through metal detectors and X-ray machines for screening airport luggage and cargo. The company is owned by OSI. Who owns OSI? Rapiscan. Company name. Company type, public. Traded as NASDAQ, OSIS, S&P 600 component. Industry, semiconductors. Weird. Founded in 87. Headquarters, Hawthorne. Oh my gosh. Deepak Chopra is the CEO and chairman. Isn't he wasn't he on Oprah? Is he that motivational speaker? Or am I thinking of the wrong guy? Why would that dude have anything to do with high tech? Wow, guys, hold on. I know what a CEO is. I wanted to see Deepak Chopra. History references. Acquired UDT, Rapiscan. Pardon me while I just scan real quick. Electronics Corporation of India Limited. It probably is him. No kidding. This is kind of a big deal. Wow. Okay. So see, they're showing us what they're doing. I gotta make a video on Willy Wonka too, because I figured out what that was about, that little thing regarding. Rapiscan has significant research and development, distribution, support, and manufacturing facilities in Malaysia. The missing Malaysia flight. Okay, that's wild. So they're making fake people. I told you, they've been making fake people on TV forever. If you go to, I don't know if it'll let me do it. Let me see if I can do it. I just want to show you guys what I saw. And this is part of the, sorry about that, guys. Okay, I want to show you this real quick. Let me see if I can. Okay. Or do I want to go? Now, it was like this on every channel for the UN yesterday. I don't know if it's going to do it today because I have the, what you call it, turned on. Watch Kamala. I don't think she'll do it on that because it's a... Everyone almost glitches at the UN meeting. Just glitch. I mean, like, trails across the stage and does not look like a real individual at all. There's Zelensky. Will he glitch? Shoot, I can't find the right video. Anyway, I think they've been doing this for a very, very long time. Like a very long time. All right, let's do UN Summit real quick. I just want to see something. Kind of a big deal, all this stuff that's going on. Of course, I can't find the video from last night. The lady in purple entering the stage. It was at the beginning. Oh, and did you see when Biden went to make his final speech? He was turned around at the wall with his back to the audience. It's getting really ridiculous at this point. Of course, it's not doing it. Anyways, so they're making fake people, and we've known this for a while now, but it's wild to see it like confirmed in this way. Okay, so let's see. Okay. The real-time computer graphics, high-resolution 3D models of the population. 3D models of the population available through TSA Rapiscan systems. So, oh God, now I know what they're doing. So for like the backgrounds of the rallies, like why it always looks like they're from the 80s, right? And it's like it's like a different film almost than the president or the one speaking at the rally. The people behind him always look like an 80s thing or an old Madden football game. They're using TSA rapid scans of everybody who's flown. Because it says 3D models of the population available through TSA rapid scan systems. I've never flown. Are you guys signing consent for this? Like, are you? I just want to know, because this is kind of a big deal. This is what they've been doing with Trump. This is what they've been doing with the Pope. And I told you, they never build a church in the Pope's name until that Pope has passed. And they've already done it for Francis. He is not alive. They are wanting people to leave the Catholic Church, and that's why they are demonizing every part of it. And there's nobody to speak up for it, because dude's gone, and he's been gone. And I don't know if it was the rapture or persecution, but I'd be willing to bet that one of the prophecies came true and that he was martyred. I'd be willing to bet that. And I'm getting the chills. Okay, so through these TSA rapid scan systems and cell phone tracking and complex event processing of social media event stream analysis, this is why they want everybody to be streaming at concert venues and whatnot, will soon allow us to televise live, fabricated images of Mr. Trump interacting with arbitrary attendees at political events, and then to use neuro-linguistic programming and electromagnetic field manipulation to induce memories of meeting the president after the effect. Don't people Taylor Swift's concerts say they felt like they had amnesia, they couldn't really remember what had happened, and she looks like really big on stage. What's going on? This is ridiculous. Like, you can't play with people this way. This is what makes me angry. This and people going missing. Like, those are the two things we should be focused on. And everybody's focused on what person's name they're going to put on a freaking piece of paper that they'll never meet. And that person, if they're alive at all, will never do anything for them. We should be focused on this technology that they're weaponizing against American and everybody, not just American people. And what do you think they're doing to people in jail who have their rights taken away from them? They're filming all these shows and everything. Like, this is wild. Why aren't you angry about this? We should be angry. Nobody is going to fix this. Trump is not a savior. He's not even real. Like, come on. Wow. And I have no desire to harm anybody, to do anybody harm, and I don't hate anybody. I hate deception. You should too. Our past efforts to infiltrate his subconscious have left an indelible mark on the psychological models used for generating his tweets. Let's click on it. To infiltrate his subconscious, what did they use? Yeah. Many of our fears in the reptilian and Illuminati about the instability of our plans have proven unfounded. Both Mr. Pence and has been brought under our influence, and Mr. Trump continues to be extraordinarily easy to manipulate through post-hypnotic suggestion in the mass media. For example, we've been moving ahead with some of our plans to manipulate Mr. Trump's psyche in various ways, and our pursuit of chaos has already begun in Iranian divestment of dollar holdings. Okay, now we're going to talk about to hedge our bets by ensuring that both presidential candidates were members of the Skull and Bones initiated together. And when Mr. Obama was elected president, we were able to recycle the foreign birth controversy we had intended to deploy against Mr. McCain. Mr. Trump's larger-than-life persona had worried us, but media consolidation has been beneficial side effect of reducing the number of people we need to influence directly in order to push our post-hypnotic suggestion into the furthest reaches of the country. Such is the value of good planning and why we keep telling people they want markets instead. Soon, such elaborate measures will be unnecessary, with all the sugar and processed foods continually activating infantile neural circuits in Americans, reinforced by the eager anticipation of Disney movies among adults now. The deplorable state of our DNA can even be used to our advantage, as radioactive fallout from decades of atmospheric nuclear testing have created an epidemic of autism that mitigates the need to exert control over vast swaths of the population. Once driverless cars become commonplace, we will have entirely subverted the distinctly American symbolism of the car as the extension of individual will, initiative, and freedom, instead turning everybody into passengers taken places rather than drivers going places, taken about like the big babies they are. By the time our plan is complete, nobody will even have the means to think about what has happened anymore. Something else that I said as well. Back when I watched Dabu and I was on the main channel doing this thing I'm doing, declaring truth and witnessing to what was happening, I said that they were weaponizing cars because they were used in terroristic activities in London, right? Do you remember that? And I said, when that happened, I did a video on it, and I said they are going to eliminate cars, which I don't personally care, but when you talk about AI driving it, then you get into the problems that you see in movies like Total Recall. All they need is, look at what's happening with the Teslas right now. Like, they're not allowing the people to drive them, right? And I do believe we are dealing with radioactive fallout. I'm not even gonna like deny that. I totally believe it. If what we can believe is true about Fukushima, the page you're looking for is moved. Dang it. Okay. Sugar and processed foods, which is something I'm actually in the process of trying to give up. Please don't be another missing bite. Understanding how infant taste buds work. Your infant has the capacity to really taste his or her food. Infants are born with predisposition to accept sweet taste, such as breast milk. Huh. Disney buys Lucasfilm for $4 billion. All right, let's go back. Ooh, that is a lot. Wow, guys. Okay, so let's go back up here. Let's go back this way. Okay, our past efforts to infiltrate his subconscious have left an indelible mark on the psychological models used for generating his tweets. A variant of the LOL bot system that came within 5% of passing the Turing test in 2008, meaning it almost passed for human. This is bots. They're talking about bots. Oh my gosh, in the red eye. Artificial intelligence came a step closer this weekend when a computer came within 5% of passing the Turing test, which the computer passes if people cannot tell between the computer and a human. This is in 2008, guys. Am I even talking to real living beings? If you are a souled living being and you are consciously aware and awake, please hit the thumbs up. It's not going to do you any harm to click a button for real. It'll let me know if there's real people watching. Are we all on a dead internet talking to an echo chamber? I don't know though, because some people get my messages because they, when you meet up with somebody, you refer back to those messages. This is wild. Like I can't. This is 2008. 2008. Oh my gosh, no wonder things are so flippin' bizarre. I don't even know what to think about that, guys. That's the LOL bot. That's what they're calling it, huh? Wow, I don't even know. I don't know what to think of that. Okay, so they're saying basically that this individual, the former President Trump, is already deceased and that he has been, and that's why they are using fake hymns or whatever, but that they downloaded his consciousness. I don't even want to say his consciousness because you can't do that. They brain mapped him and they created an artificial version of his consciousness so that he still talks like himself, and they're using the old voice messages and stuff. And I told you that. I told you all this, that this is the harvest, guys. This is the harvest. They're using your voice. They're using your image. Have you consented? Do you consent? I would go through and kill every single social media account I have right now. Right now. And I'm talking to you guys, not me. I really don't have any left. Well, this one. I use this one. All right, let's click back. All right. take control of the office of president while preserving Trump's personality as a distraction. With Trump's former campaign advisor Paul Manafort taking the fall for a conspiracy against the United States, things are moving along nicely. After a brief period wherein the late President Trump's Twitter account was taken offline, we now have the presidential tweeting algorithm running at full speed. What did I tell you? If you go back to last month, we did a video where they were talking about how the president had used a Samsung, just like me. He'd used a Samsung forever and ever and ever. But that there was some security breach with his phone in 2018 and he was using a different one now. And even if certain people are still alive, they are being severely isolated and secluded. The goal is to keep us from communicating with each other so that we cannot talk about the commonalities that we are experiencing, seeing, and hearing. I do believe it's an infestation. To most people, it will look like it's another government or regime. To those of us who know better, we know that there is a bloodline issue here, and that is what's happening. And we are seeing it play out in real time, and my mind is blown. This was supposed to be a fun morning video. I did not count on finding more confirmations for my suspicions. And I know people are going to say, how can you take this seriously? It's talking about, reptilians or whatever. That's how they get it by, number one, is to say something like that so that nobody believes it. But that's also how you leak out truth, is you make it look kind of ridiculous. And it's confirming everything we've talked about on the main channel and this one. This is just too wild. I don't even know what to say. Wow. Initial fears about a Trump presidency unraveling. Okay. Heavily consolidated media outlets, meaning that basically one or two CEOs will be in control of everything. So is Deepak Chopra, the one that we saw, I have to look at that, if y'all don't mind. And then we'll end this one because I'm kind of overwhelmed. That's a lot. I did not plan on finding all that. It is him. Well, what are you doing as a CEO, an investor of a high-tech company, sir? 1946. October what? 22nd. 2. New Age guru, alternative medicine advocate. This is how I know New Age isn't the right way. Every time people, like you can just see now. You can just see. Oh, no kidding. He named his child Gotham. No kidding. And look at that. Why does he have that behind him? Who is this person? Candace Chen is his spouse. Gotham Chopra is an American sports documentarian, media entrepreneur, producer, podcast host, director, journalist, and author. He's co-founder of Religion of Sports Liquid Comics. He is known for his sports-centric films, having worked with athletes such as Tom Brady, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Simone Biles, and Michael Strahan, and they all have issues. Tom Brady married a witch. LeBron James and Kobe Bryant, we know right there. If you're in the NFL, you're a sorcerer, basically. Simone Biles, I think she's awesome. I have questions about her. I think she's competing in the wrong classification. And Michael Strahan, don't know who that is. This guy, they named him, why would you name your child Gotham? This is wild, guys. Like, this is such the rabbit hole. I did not plan on finding any of this. Project Gotham, Operation Gotham. There he is with Tom Brady. Putting up some hand sign that I don't know what it means, of course. My dad taught me about the handshakes, but that's all I really learned. This is wild. I don't even know what to think, you guys. This is overwhelming. Like, way overwhelming at this point. It is so wild to see the things that you've talked about for years and all the suspicions that I've had and all the times I've been called crazy and insane and gaslighted by people way younger than me. by my own children. Like, I see what's like it's happening, and it's been happening for a long time. If there's any real people out there, please hit the like button. We really need to have a real life exodus. I'm not even playing. I'm gonna do a shorter upload video. I can't even remember about about Willy Wonka, and also to reply to a comment somebody made. They took the time to lay out a really long comment, so I'm gonna go ahead and reply to that in a short video upload, because I want to talk about the Willy Wonka thing that they had going on a little while ago, and this is overwhelming. I'm not sure what to think about all this. Deepak Chopra, who is a new age guru who is in tight with Oprah, owns an NSA data harvesting company, basically. I'm going to leave all these windows open so that if you're interested, we can take a look again. If not, I'll look myself. And I'm hoping to do another cool reading. I just don't know if it'll be tonight or tomorrow. But we will talk soon. Maybe I'll take a few days off because I have to work. I don't know. I haven't decided. Have a blessed day. Stay prayed up. May the Holy Spirit go ahead of you, softening the minds and hearts of those that you interact with, and the words and the deeds of those that you interact with. And may the Holy Spirit bless your path. Bye, guys.